morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
Good morning. I'm Jackie Kostek. Tributes and services are now underway for a Chicago fire captain killed in the line of duty.
Family, friends, and colleagues by the hundreds are gathering to honor Captain David Meyer.
We have multiple crews covering the services, including our very own Chris Habermill.
And before his funeral service begins, Chris, we'd like to ask you, what can you share with us about the formalities that have taken place this morning to honor Captain Meyer?
Well, it is part of the tradition of a line of duty death in the fire service. We see that not only in the fire service, but also in the law enforcement community. There's an order of service, an order of honor. Yesterday we had the formation outside on Milwaukee Avenue at the funeral home, and then the uniform walkthrough before the end of the visitation. This morning, just a little while ago, what you're seeing here, this is the company officer and Captain Meyer's truck company acting as pallbearers, taking his casket out from the funeral home. You can see here the more of the tradition. We saw the crossed ladders with the American flag. You'll see all of the different battalion flags there. There's actually 24. There's former Mayor Richard Daley. 24 battalions, 1 special operations battalion, 5 districts in the city of Chicago, 4,500 uniformed firefighters. The list goes on, and in the numbers here, we're looking at the 3rd largest metropolitan fire department behind New York and Los Angeles. Mayor Brandon Johnson in the foreground there, Annette Nance Holt, our fire commissioner. She has not had to do this, thankfully, all of last year, but the year before that, that was a terrible year of 2023, where we said so long to 4 brother firefighters, firefighter Jermaine Pelt, Lieutenant Jan Torek, Lieutenant Kevin Ward, and firefighter Andrew Price, all made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty in 2023. Now, last year there were no line of duty deaths, thankfully, and once again that heartbreak has risen to the surface here. Annette Nance Holt, she joined the fire department back in 1990, and she actually worked as she was a deputy. I believe she might have been a deputy district chief at the time that she first encountered him on the west side there. But as you can see here, that we've got dignitaries that have come not only from the city of Chicago, joining in the command staff to support the family, but in our little superimposed box there, you see on the left that all of those white hats, those are all officers. And all the way from the fire commissioner, deputy fire commissioner, other deputy commissioners, assistant deputy fire commissioners, district chiefs, deputy district chiefs, assistant the paramedic chiefs in the EMS division, battalion chiefs, captains, lieutenants, all would be wearing those white hats there. So up against the driveway entrance at the church, you'll see a double line, a double row of those white hats. Those are all your Chicago officers there. They're all going to be lined up. Everybody, all the Chicago firefighters are first. Everybody is closest to the church there, and of course the command staff and dignitaries are up adjacent to the door. You can see that the honor flags from the different battalions here in the city of Chicago, the crossed flags or the crossed ladders with the flags suspended in between, again, as a note of honor and to signify what this officer has given as far as in the line of duty, giving the supreme sacrifice here of his life. The officers there were kind of in a loose formation, rank and file back behind there in the blue caps. Out-of-town companies, all those officers are removed back away from they're the second in line there behind obviously their brothers and sisters from Chicago. And everybody is just kind of in a loose positioning right now. We've got Superintendent Larry Snelling there from the Chicago Police Department. He's been very supportive all along here. You can see Mayor Daley off to the right there, just out of the frame here. So a lot of dignitaries past and present from the city of Chicago, Chicago government, obviously here in a show of support for the family and of the fire department. As we get further into this, once we get a little bit closer, and you can see that's all the command staff gathered there around the mayor and the fire commissioner. On the other side, we'll have your line officers and what have you. So they will, once they come to attention, you know that the funeral procession is not too terribly far away. There would be on final approach to the entrance drive there at the church, and that should be happening relatively shortly. In the procession from the funeral home, just several miles up Milwaukee Avenue and then north on Harlem, north of Oakton to the church here. This church was built back, the church building was built back about 1966, can house about 1,300 people on the inside, and no doubt it will be filled to overflowing. Also, there will be officers and rank and file that would be outside as well. They'll try and get everybody into the sanctuary, but that's going to be kind of a tall order here. So as the funeral procession draws closer with Engine 96, Truck 29 that Captain Meyer was the officer on that the fateful day a week ago tomorrow. Then we can see off in the distance here, as this is a long shot down Harlem. You can see a very tree-lined street as the Chicago Police Department is escorting the engine and the truck company here as the barricades, Public Works from Niles now moving those barricades out of the way. They're going to be crossing the intersection. That's Oakton down there all the way at that. This is a long telephoto shot. So they're going to go ahead, clear the intersection down there. And the first vehicles from the Chicago Police Department will be coming across, followed by the engine and the truck company. You can see now we're clearing everybody out of the way. So word is now going across on the communication radio to the Master-at-Arms to let everybody know that we're going to get ready to put everybody at attention. And then once the procession gets to the church, then everybody will be brought to a hand salute here. So as we get closer and closer, this procession here with the family, with the co-workers, with the other truck company and engine company members here, those two companies join together. They're leading the parade behind the battalion chief. I believe that's Battalion 18's buggy right there, because Truck 29 is in the 4th District. That's the 18th Battalion. They're quartered on North Waller, just a few blocks away from where the fire call came in. As the procession gets a little bit closer, let's circle back to what happened a week ago tomorrow. It was 4:03 in the morning. Call came in on Wednesday, very early Wednesday, fire in the 1200 block of North Pine Avenue, fire in an alley garage. Turned out that there was a fire blazing away in the garage at 5505 West on Crystal Street. Company knocked that down in about 15 minutes. And unfortunately, while Captain Meyer and his troops were in the front there, right in the process of getting the salvage and overhaul ready, getting that roll-up door forced in order to get in there and make sure that everything was ventilated out and that the hot spots were addressed, that the building came down without warning. And part of that garage structure, unfortunately, struck Captain Meyer. As we get more and more people kind of getting into a position here, obviously they have now stopped the procession shy of where they're going to be turning into the church. I believe by virtue of the fact that it's been so windy and what have you, they may be getting ready to make the final transfer of the casket in before they get to the actual church there. So once we get reestablish our shot, we'll be able to show that to you. Obviously, in the background there, we've got, looks like on the right, we've got the honor guard, the color guard there, and also equestrian units there in the background. I'll turn it back to you.
Well, Chris,
for the time being.
You know, I noticed too, as you mentioned about 10 minutes ago in our coverage, maybe 20 minutes ago, all of the trees along the procession route wrapped in those red ribbons as a sign of respect and honor for Captain David Meyer as the procession makes its way down both Milwaukee and Harlem, which is touching. And we can see it moving closer to St. John Brebeuf Church now too, but also in addition to all of the city fire department and police department likely employees who are starting to stand at attention, we see what I believe are, many civilians, as you call them, many people who likely live in that area standing alongside the procession route, which is also always very moving to see. And again, Chris, as you can see now, the folks outside the church definitely seem to have, the conversation has stopped and they are now standing at attention.
Chris, I'm wondering if you can for folks who are just joining our coverage, because I thought that was so powerful to know what the tradition is behind the ribbons that are lining the entire procession route, which we know is just under 3.5 miles long. But it's so powerful to see the red ribbons. And I think you had mentioned earlier that it's actually Chicago firefighters who go out and attach those ribbons to the trees, just sort of so folks can have a guiding light as they go along this procession route and see Captain David Meyer's body be moved into where it will be laid to rest.
Well, everybody's been called, Jackie, to attention, and now they're rendering the hand salute. So they would be called uniformed members, attention, uniformed members, present arms, and that is what is happening right now as the hearse is moved into the final approach path, the entrance drive at the church. In some fire department funerals and proceedings, you would see the casket loaded into the hose bed of an engine. Here, the decision has been made. It's been very windy out and what have you, at the request of the family, obviously, that Captain Meyer's body be in a hearse here, so the hearses be pulling up. They switched position, up the position of the actual procession coming from the funeral home to the church, had the engine and the truck company leading. They stepped aside and allowed the family now to come into the entrance area first of all, and you can see now that the family members are being led away from the limousines. They will be getting the rest of the family members here situated as the line officers and dignitaries render honors here. We have, and it's been noted several times, the Sal Razai is out there, and we've noticed fire department members from Boston, and there are firefighters from all over the world that have come out here.
Chris, I think
you can hear the call there for the hand salute. Yes,
I think it's important to remind folks that Captain David Meyer, we saw his family members. I can't say for sure exactly who we were looking at, but he leaves behind 3 daughters and a son, along with his wife of 30 years. So you just can't imagine the pain that they are going through. But I'm sure seeing this show of support is helpful.
And he and his wife had been together since they were teenagers. So literally they spent the better part of 40 years together, 4 decades together, and also his parents as well.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look, the things that just scream inside your heart about being so unfair to the family, to his friends, to his fellow members in the Chicago Fire Department, everyone, everywhere that he served so well and so faithfully for so many years. That's the one thing you're going to hear about Captain Meyer over and over again, how steady and stable and rock solid he was, not only as performing on the job for the Chicago Fire Department, but being a father, a husband, a friend, a son. The list goes on and on. And when we look at scenes like this, may we all ascribe, may we all aspire, may we all try to be like Captain Meyer. May we all try to be good people, upstanding to the community, love one another, care for not only the other company members of his truck company that he was in charge of. Remember, as a company officer, you're first in, last out. Your responsibility is for those members of that company. And when you're in the right front seat and you look over your shoulder and you got a bunch of guys that are looking at you, guys and gals in the fire service now, and they're looking up at you, and they're looking at you to be a leader, a mentor, a friend, and somebody who will risk everything to make sure that you go home at the end of the shift. There's a bond there that will never be broken. The men and women of the fire service, first responders, the world around, they share this common bond. They share this closeness. And whether it's the fire service, EMS, law enforcement, acting in the best interest of the public, making sure that you give of yourself so that others may live, that is a high calling that cannot be denied,
and
cannot be minimized.